Family, it's Providence. Thanks for tuning in. I think one real conversation that we have to have in the Black community is the propensity for us to treat each other worse than we would treat outsiders of our own community. I think familiarity breeds contempt. I think that, like Jesus said, a prophet is not hated anywhere else but in his own hometown, where people who know you or familiar with you from the same culture as you think that they can treat you however they want to treat you. And it's even worse if you're in the streets. I think participating in the streets allows people to sign this invisible contract that says you signed up to have all your rights taken away from you. I can abuse you, you can abuse me. We just can't tell the authorities about it. And it leads to things like what happened with Gucci Mane and Pooh Shiesty. Charlamagne would touch on this on the Brilliant Idiots podcast. I think he makes an excellent point.
What you're saying, but I think at some point, fuck the street code.
Listen, you know me, I'm not in the street, so I'm always fuck the
these
street
guys
code.
are businessmen, man, and here's the thing. And this is all alleged. I don't know if Pooh Shiesty did any of this, right? I'm just going off the stories I heard. I know that Pooh Shiesty wouldn't do that to a white man.
Well,
whenever you hear these stories,
let me ask you,
it's literally always the black executives getting put in this position by black artists.
let me ask,
ain't no artist running down on the white executive.
Well, the question I have is, because we can't look at it, it's only happening to other black people, but is there security in that, knowing that he's not going to snitch or he's not going to involve the authorities, right? Because they have the same street code. Whereas, like, would Pooh do it to...
I don't even think, if this is true, I don't even think Pooh was thinking like that. I think Pooh was just literally a person whose mentality is still that of
the street.
Now, I must point out that final part, I actually disagree with Charlamagne. I think Andrew is right to point out that Pooh Shiesty thought that Gucci Mane was on that same street energy as him. He took security and thinking he could do Gucci Mane any type of way he wanted, and that Gucci was going to keep it street and either let it happen or try to handle it in some street way. But either way, he wasn't going to be looking at spending decades in prison. And it's already been reported that Pooh Shiesty was shocked to find out that Gucci actually made a statement. So he definitely did think, I can get away with this, at least legally, because he ain't finna snitch. See, being black in America, you learn a few things. You realize that there's certain things you can get away with depending on who you do it to. Black people in impoverished circumstances, under police circumstances, where the law enforcement have trouble literally solving crimes, places like Chicago, where God knows how many murders get unsolved. There's this understanding that I can kill, I can rob, I can do whatever I want and get away with it. But there's a really keen understanding as well in the black community that you really can't do nothing to white people. Because white people, the people in charge of this country, the ones who run the legal system, if they see you're black behind committing crimes against white people, they lock you up. They put many, many years on your sentence. You're not going to get away with violating white people like that. And of course, I'm not saying that black on black crime never gets solved or anything like that. I'm just simply saying law enforcement has shown less of an effort to solve crimes when the perpetrator and the victim is black versus when the perpetrator is black and the victim is white. So if you're Pooh Shiesty and you're used to watching a wave of black on black crime not get solved, you're probably thinking you can do something to Gucci Mane and get away with it, especially if you think he a street dude just like you and he ain't finna snitch. Problem is, Gucci Mane decided he was no longer going to play by the street rules, and now Pooh Shiesty's more than likely screwed. But I must say, somewhere along the line, I feel like we as a people, and I'm talking to my people, black people, we got comfortable abusing each other. We got comfortable being our own worst enemy. We got comfortable with our own self-destruction. See, we'll go crazy when a white police officer does something to a black man or woman or some sort of police brutality, and we have a right to go crazy over that. But Gangsters shoot gangsters, kill gangsters. Everybody does, robbing each other, shooting each other in the hood, and the energy ain't the same to stop that. Now, I'm not saying that there aren't those organizations in those communities trying to fight against black on black crime, trying to tell the youth in these impoverished neighborhoods to put down the guns. I'm not saying we don't care and there aren't people doing that. I would never say that. But I do feel like in many respects, the energy ain't the same. And even some of the things I've seen in the culture around this conversation has been a little bit disturbing to me. I've seen media personalities and other individuals comment that, ooh, I like Pooh Shiesty's music even more now because he's a real one. He's shown how gangster he really is. And I'm like, dog, so now we celebrating Pooh Shiesty that he did this? Now we more interested in his music? What does that show? That shows that we're okay with the self-destruction. We're okay with it. We celebrated. Ooh, Pooh Shiesty's music is now even more appealing because he robbed Gucci Mane. Like, we've become okay with our own self-destruction. And the reality is that I think Pooh Shiesty, whether he consciously thought that or not, recognized that that's the culture. We're okay with doing each other wrong, but we won't do wrong to anyone outside our culture. And the only time we really got a problem with it is if the white man does something to us. And I'm just like, listen, we got to have the same energy. Whenever the abuse is coming from people outside the culture, we got to stand up to it. Whenever the abuse is coming from people within the culture, we got to stand up to it. We got to kick all the self-destruction out, man. Just is what it is. And again, I say this with all conviction. I don't know why anybody still in the streets is signing themselves off to this invisible contract where you say, hey, we get to do each other wrong. And these laws that are put in place to actually protect us as citizens of this country, because that's what laws are. They're put in place to protect you, Mr. Gangster. So when you get abused, these laws are there to protect you. But you're like, nah, forget that. We got to handle things by our own street rules, which means we perpetually crash out. We either take the abuse or perpetually crash out. No, man, that's an inhumane, uncivilized way to live. And I think all men and women of good nature must push against the street code. With no disrespect to Pooh Shiesty at all, I hope if he is guilty of this, learns his lesson, changes, and I don't ever want to see somebody locked up for real. But at the end of the day, I can't celebrate what he did, and I don't think anybody should. And this idea that now we want to play Pooh Shiesty music more because we found out that he a real gangster is exactly a part of the problem. So let's push this mentality out the community, fam. I'm sorry, I'm sounding like I'm preaching, but it is what it is. All right, it's my thoughts. It's been Providence. Let me guys know what you think. Do you think Charlamagne was right? Do you think I'm right? Do you think that Pooh Shiesty would have did this to anybody? It doesn't matter. Do you think that black people, we have a propensity to treat ourselves the worst? Do you think we allowing certain things to happen in our culture that we shouldn't be allowing? Let me know your thoughts. Get into the comment box, like the video, comment, subscribe. It's been Providence. I'll see you guys in the next video.